In this video, I'm going to have a quick chat about what to do if you can't run while you are injured with your Achilles tendon problem. There are some small instances where a little bit of running in the background will be okay while you rehab it, but there are a lot of times where you have to stop running in order to let the Achilles fully recover. And if, like me, that means that you will turn into a really tense, frustrated person, then this video is going to give you a few ideas of what to do to save yourself and possibly people around you from a very grumpy runner who can't run. My name's Steph. I'm one of the physios at treatmyachilles.com, where you can get an online personalised rehab programme for your injury. If you're interested in more information, then please have a look at the details in the description of this video. Right, so let's assume you're unable to run, and it's really important then that you do stay fit in some way, because firstly, for motivation, it's impossible to stay motivated and stay on track with these really rather boring rehab exercises, quite frankly, when it comes to rehabbing an Achilles tendon. And also the timescale for Achilles rehab is often longer than anyone would like. Yes, it can be as short as a week or two, but quite often, on average, about 3 to 6 months, and in some bad cases it can take longer than a year. So if you haven't got another form of exercise, you will very quickly give up and go and find another physio, or go and try another treatment and go from treatment to treatment, trying to find something that is going to fix your problem and not get anywhere with it because you're not giving it long enough. So you do need to keep fit in some other way. Here are a few ideas. You don't have to do these, but this is just to give you something to try. First of all, the easiest thing would be to get on a bike. Now, this might be an exercise bike, or it might be a real bike. Please only go on a real bike if you're confident and competent on riding on the road. Don't do anything unsafe. But the reason this is good is because it's non-impact. If you stay in the saddle, your weight will be going through the saddle and you're not going to be pushing really very much through your foot, which will allow the Achilles to rest. In some cases, an Achilles that's very sensitive to being on a stretch might not like it. Similarly, if you've got footwear that you wear on the bike that irritates your Achilles, then again you have to be a bit careful, but on the whole it's a reasonably safe thing to try. If you make sure the saddle is the right height and make sure you start with an easy intensity and not for very long at first, just to check for any delayed symptoms, then you can build up some cycling into your routine in place of when you would have done your running. Another one to try would be swimming. So swimming is logistically a pain in the bum because you have to find a pool, unless you're very lucky and you have access to one all the time. However, it's another good cardiovascular exercise that is not going to affect your Achilles tendon, so long as you're not pushing hard off the side of the pool, in which case for exercise benefit it's easier, well in fact it's harder to swim without pushing hard off the side. So if you get to the end, touch the end, turn, swim away, and you can get a good workout in the pool without harming your chances of recovery. Failing that, you could consider joining a gym, or if you remember already, then you can go and use some equipment in the gym. You can make yourself some circuits, you can do the weights machines. I would stay off of doing any weights machines that involve your calves, because that might interfere with your rehab that you've been issued. You don't want to overload your tendon with rehab exercises and find that the rehab exercises is irritating the whole thing, in which case you've not benefited at all by not running. So make sure that when you're in the gym, you're using equipment that is not really having you push off onto your foot. That includes sometimes the cross trainer. In later stages or in milder cases, the cross trainer or elliptical, as it's sometimes called, will be okay. But in some cases where the Achilles is a little bit more irritated, that will also irritate it. Again, in which case you're wasting your time not running. So things that will be okay would be squats usually are okay. If you find that stretching into a squat at the ankle is a problem, put some weight plates under your heels so you're on more of a decline. You should find that things like deadlifts in the same way are okay. Most of the machine weights will be okay as well, and obviously you can work on your core and your upper body. If you can't access a gym, then there are plenty of exercises you can be doing at home. I'm going to be making a separate video with a workout that you can do at home with no equipment while you're rehabbing your Achilles tendon. So look out for that one if you want to. And then finally, this might be a time to try some other activities that you might not have done before, or that you wouldn't normally do because you wouldn't have the time, because you'd be running. So things like stand-up paddleboarding, that can be fun. Kayaking can be fun. These things don't involve a great deal of Achilles stress. And things not to do, unless again it's a mild case or you're in the later stages of rehab, don't go out walking for miles. It would seem like an obvious thing to do, but if you're bothering to rest from running and then you're walking for miles every day, you might well be stirring it up with the walking, in which case again you're wasting your time not getting it better. So don't go walking for miles if actually that is stopping it getting better. If it's getting better, fine, but if you're finding it isn't getting better, cut back on the walking, because it could be that's actually preventing it from recovering. I think that covers most of the things you could do. It's only a quick chat, but join me for my other video on what exercises you can be doing at home with your Achilles problem. Thanks for listening. I hope that helps, and give us a shout if you want to book in for an assessment and a personalised plan. Okay, bye.